Hey folks, back with another video. Let's dive into what stories got my attention today. At least 30 armed Ethiopian troops and large numbers of refugees fleeing the fighting in Ethiopia's northern Tigray region have crossed the border into Sudan, according to the state run SUNA news agency report. While one diplomat on Tuesday said hundreds of people have been reported killed on both sides of Ethiopia's week long conflict. Now, as the Union urged an immediate ceasefire, the Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed again vowed that his military will bring a speedy end to the fighting in the heavily armed Tigray region and the removal of its leadership, which his government regards as illegal. Now, with the region almost completely cut off from the rest of the world effectively, it remains difficult to confirm either side's claims. Each blames the other for sparking the conflict. Sudan, which has sent more than 6,000 troops to the border, has been under pressure from the international community to help make peace and from the Ethiopian government, which seeks to cut Tigray off from the outside world. The troops from the Ethiopia's Amhara region neighboring Tigray fled into Sudan's Qadarif province Monday evening, the SUNA report said, citing witnesses. Local authorities have started to prepare a refugee camp for the fleeing Ethiopians. It said, while aid groups warn of a brewing humanitarian crisis affecting millions of people at the heart of the Horn of Africa region. The Ethiopian troops turned themselves and their weapons in and appealed for protection as fighting raged over the border, according to a Sudanese military official on condition of anonymity said, and their weapons, and he was not authorized to brief reporters. The African Union Commission chairman Musa Faki Mahamat has called for the quote-unquote immediate cessation of hostilities. Now, in a statement Monday, he said that the African Union, based in Ethiopia, is ready to support an quote inter-Ethiopian effort in the pursuit of peace and stability. End quote. Now, Abiy has shown no sign of opening talks with the Tigray People's Liberation Front, which once dominated Ethiopia's ruling coalition. The situation in Ethiopia is going to get much worse before it gets any better. I'll probably be keeping an eye on the situation and understanding and keep an eye and see how this scenario plays out. Moving on, it seems that Armenia, Azerbaijan, and Russia have said that they have signed a deal to end the military conflict over the Nagorno-Karabakh region after more than a month of bloodshed. Now, Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan first announced the signing on social media in the early hours of Tuesday, and the Kremlin and Azerbaijan's President Ilham Aliyev later confirmed the news. Quote, the signed trilateral statement will become a crucial point in the settlement of the conflict, end quote, Aliyev said in a televised online meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Putin said Russian peacekeepers would be deployed along the front lines in Nagorno-Karabakh and the corridor between the region and Armenia, according to reports from Reuters. Arak Harut Yunan, the leader of the Nagorno-Karabakh region, said on Facebook that he gave agreement, quote, to end the war as soon as possible, end quote. Pashinyan said on Tuesday he made the decision to sign the ceasefire after the army insisted on it. Protesters in Armenia stormed government buildings in Yerevan as anger over the deal has mounted. Turkish Foreign Minister Mevlut Cavusoglu and his Russian counterpart Sergei Lavrov discussed the ceasefire deal by phone on Tuesday. Russia's foreign ministry spokeswoman told the Echo Moscow radio station. Now, I am hopeful that the new deal will hold, and I think that this deal will not be violated like the last time. Moving on, the second vice president, Sarwar Danish, at a gathering on Monday, blamed the Taliban for consistent delays and lack of process in the direct negotiations between negotiating teams on both sides in Doha. The Taliban is, quote, the main obstacle, end quote, for progress in the peace negotiation in Doha, Danish said, adding that does not believe in a peaceful solution to the war in the country. Now, Danish said that the new U.S. administration should review the Afghan peace process and that there is a need for support to the process from all sides. Now, the two sides have argued on almost all articles of the ground rules for negotiation except two, the religious basis for the talk and the connection of the US-Taliban deal with the talks in Doha. Now, I believe the Taliban is trying to put as much pressure as they can to grab as much concession from the Afghan government and the US after the US troops effectively leave the region. Moving on, the Jordanian people have began voting on Tuesday, an election set to keep parliament in an election which is believed will keep the parliament in the hands of the tribal and pro-government deputies under a system that underrepresents the cities where the Islamist and liberal opposition do best. Now, across the country, banners of around 1,700 candidates fluttered from signposts, appealing to 4.64 million eligible voters on mostly tribal and family loyalty. Politicians appealed to Jordanians to turn out and vote amid widespread apathy and calls for a boycott of what many see as an almost toothless tribal-dominated assembly packed with pro-government loyalists and powerless to make change. Defying liberals and Islamists alike, the government has maintained an election law that underrepresents large cities that are Islamist and Palestinian strongholds in favor of these sparsely populated tribal areas which form a bedrock of support for the kingdom's Hashemite monarchy. Now, of course, tribalism has been on the rise as a political element in Jordan, blunting the emergence of national parties and curbing the influence of Islamists. Now, the ballot comes after King Abdullah dissolved parliament in September at the end of his 4-year term. Now, let's see what the results of these elections are and whether this new parliament will be able to deliver on reforms that the country, I believe, desperately needs. Moving over to Peru, it seems that the Peru's Congress has ousted President Martin Vizcarra on Monday in an impeachment vote over corruption allegation and his handling of the coronavirus pandemic. Vizcarra announced he would not try to fight the ouster and would immediately leave the presidential palace. Analysts called the action by legislators an overt and risky power grab in a country where Vizcarra is significantly more popular than Congress. Now, his impeachment was supported by 105 legislators, more than 87 votes needed for the two-thirds majority required to remove Peru's president. Many said that they were casting their vote for his removal in the name of dead loved ones. Head of Congress, Manuel Merino, an agronomist and businessman from the minority Popular Action, is expected to take on the presidency on Tuesday and will remain in office until the end of July 2021, when his predecessor's term was due to expire. Merino urged calm after the vote and assured Peruvians that the April 11 presidential election would go ahead as planned. Now, legislators brought the proceedings forward on allegations that Vizcarra received more than $630,000 in exchange for 2 construction projects while serving as governor of a small province in southern Peru in 2011 to 2014. However, both Vizcarra and his supporters have rejected the corruption allegations against him as, quote, baseless and falseless. Now, he warned of, quote unquote, unpredictable consequences earlier on Monday if lawmakers impeached him just months ahead of election in which he is not eligible to run. After the decision, which came just weeks after he dodged another impeachment vote, dozens gathered at Plaza San Martin in downtown Lima in support of Vizcarra. In a late-night address, Vizcarra said he would not challenge the ruling but would act with Peru's best interest in mind. Now, in developing countries, corruption allegations are a dime a dozen. And one of the things that makes developing countries poor is the fact that that these are actually a low trust society. And that is the reason why, of course, when there's low trust, the allegations are spread with such ferocity that the allegation almost becomes like a truth because, as I said, they are a low trust society and they will believe the worst in the others. And so this is the one of the factors why poor countries remain poor is because they keep looking for taking each other down. Anyhow, that's it for this video. If you like the video, hit that like button and subscribe for future and subscribe for future updates by clicking on the subscribe button. Write in the comments your write in the comment section if anything I've missed and other thoughtful comments. And I will see you in the next video.